Hello. I wanted to come on today because I was thinking about some fun things that have motivated me in my life to create change. And I realized that right now there is so much cuckoo crazy happening in the collective that it could be really easy to get distracted and in fear or disconnected from dreaming and wanting to improve your life. If you're new to me, my name is Donnell Davis. I'm a channel healer and a transformational mentor that specializes in healing forward to become your future self now. And I recognize right now that we are living in massively intense times of awakening. And the collective cannot awaken without us feeling that and awakening within ourselves. And for some of us, we've been on this path for quite some time. You might be surprised at what's going on in the collective, but maybe you had an idea like I did. I think 2020 for me was the year when the veil was kind of removed and I saw a lot of the things that were happening, and I had a hard time with that. Even then, I had like a little bit of a mini breakdown when I realized some of the awful things happening, and I still always ask myself the deeper question of how do I work with this? Like, how do I shift this? What's my contribution to the collective? And you may be wondering during these times when everything feels a little topsy-turvy. I mean, there is not one friend or client that I have spoken to lately that doesn't have some form of transformation happening, whether it's like subtle or really big, divorces, people dying, people coming undone. Like, there's just all these things happening. And I'm not saying that every single person is going through that, but I think you'd be hiding under a rock if you didn't agree that things are more heightened. And so for me personally, I understand that the collective soup is really heavy and energetic hygiene is so wildly important right now. So I'm curious what energetic hygiene you've been doing on a day-to-day basis to maintain your sovereignty and your agency so that you don't start to just sponge up this stuff and then feel really off and not understand why. It's so important before you go into any conversation, before you enter into scrolling on social media or all the things that we do, that you understand your own set point. That you understand, like, well, how am I feeling today? Like, what am I coming into this conversation with, or this meeting, or looking at social media? Because it's so easy to get, scrolling, for instance, and then all of a sudden to recognize, oh my God, I feel like shit because I'm looking at all these terrible things. And I didn't feel like this before. Well, everything is energetic. Everything. So these times call for wild discernment. So if you've been feeling a little off, if you've been sensing that we are in these heightened times, but you're somebody who still wants to show up and still wants to make a contribution, because here's the thing. The more you love yourself, the more that you follow your heart and have a deep relationship with what you consider a higher power, the more that your energetic frequency gets to be a contribution to the quantum field. That is the soup that we are living in. And I don't know the exact statistics, but I know that someone who's in a really positive state can have a huge effect on other people. I want to say it's the Maharishi effect, but I don't know. I should, check these things before I say them. But anyways, I'm one of those people, I know a lot of things, but I don't know the exact things sometimes. And I'm like, oh, should I say that? Anyways. So coming back to why a vision is so important. And if you're a woman listening to this, and you're a high functioning, high capacity woman that has been feeling off, I have something really incredible for you next week. That's going to be an experience that is free, that I'll share in a second. But the vision. There's many times in my life where I have trained myself to drop into meditation, and I start to go into an unspecified time in the future, and I start to just like have fun and say what's available based on what my heart wants, right? We have these desires, and there's nothing wrong with desire. There's nothing wrong, even in these times, with still wanting to have more, to want to have a really great life. And I know it's challenging because there's a lot of people that are suffering. But this is where I'm saying, like, what contribution you get to be to the collective. So, different times in my life, I have had this amazing resource of my intuition coming through and receiving incredible messages and visions about what is possible for my future. And they've come inside, like, they come in so many different ways. I was just telling my daughter the other day, because we were driving and the song by Asa Besa came up, and I know if you're not like in a certain generation, you're gonna be like, who the hell is Asa Besa? But in the 80s, they're a band, and they had this song that said, I saw the sign. And one of my favorite visions kind of things that was happening years ago was I heard this song, and it was in a relationship where I was considering leaving, and this song kept coming through over and over again. And I was like, why do I keep hearing this song? And I went and looked up the lyrics, because I know a lot of the time Spirit is always trying to get my attention through lyrics. And I looked, and sure enough, it was about a woman seeing the signs, knowing it's time to leave. And I knew without a shadow of a doubt that was a message from my future self, coming to tell me, preparing me for what I was about to embark on. Whether it's a song, that was one way, but these visions. And I've had so many different ones, but there's one that came to my mind last night that I was thinking about that I wanted to share. And numerous times, I do this for my clients, but I trained in this, and it's hypnosis, where you get in the alpha or theta brainwave, and then you go into your future and you start to look at future memories. And they're a little bit more impactful than, I do this a lot. I practice Kriya Yoga in the mornings for my meditation a lot of times. And I do futuring meditations, and I see things, but this is where very concentrated and potent, because you're in that space for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, something like that. And so anyways, I had seen my future self. This was probably 3 or 4 years ago. And one of the first times, actually it was a little bit longer, it was back in 2021 that I did this. And I saw all these visions, because at that time I was single, I wanted to meet somebody, and I was really excited about the potential and possibility of that. And so I went into this deep hypnosis for futuring, and I started getting all these clues about the man that I was gonna be with eventually, this dream partner that I've been calling in. And the clues were so interesting. It was like, he has a son, he has blue eyes, was something about this big lake, and there was something about, he didn't live in San Diego, he lived somewhere else. I wrote down Montana, and I put a question mark, but somewhere in that area. I was just kind of like writing down these things once I came out of the meditation. And then I wrote down something really random that was fly fishing in that same note that I was taking. And I thought to myself, is this guy going to be a fly fisherman? Like, what is this? Does he live in Montana? What's happening? Fast forward a year, and I'm on my first date with my now husband, and he was taking me to Sun Valley, Idaho, and up to like the Sawtooth Mountains. And we were hanging out for the first weekend, and he woke up and so I cannot make this stuff up. If you are someone who lives in a life where you're going to be like, what is she talking about? I invite you to just open your mind to what's possible. But he woke up and he said to me, he goes, oh, I just got this message in my meditation this morning. He was like quietly meditating that I need to take you into town. That there's something that you have to see or something you need to experience, that I need to take you into town to start the day. And I was like, okay. And we're driving, and all of a sudden, right before we turn into town, I turn to the right, and there is the hugest sign that says fly fishing. And granted, I'm in Idaho, right? So this is not that weird, but in California, that's where I'm from. There's, that's not a thing. And so I'm looking and I'm like, oh my gosh, fly fishing. Wait, I remember writing something down about fly fishing. Later in the day, he takes me to the Sawtooth Mountains and this huge lake. All of a sudden, I'm like, these are the clues. He has a son who's now my stepson. He had blue eyes, everything. And I didn't know that those clues were going to be so specific, but they were messages from a future timeline. Now, you don't have to be overly woo-woo to understand this. This is just using your intuition. This is about your ability to access the quantum field, which I'm adept at because I've been channeling for 22 years, something like that. And I've done thousands of readings. But truth be told, it's harder to do it for myself. But in that hypnotic state, I was able to receive those clues. So that was one of those beautiful aha moments of my life where I knew on some level that what I had seen in that meditation was matching the present moment that I was experiencing. So everything was in alignment. It was really amazing. And then I did another futuring meditation one time where I saw myself and I was describing, because part of this experience, sometimes you're talking out loud, sometimes you experience it and then you write it down. And I do this for my clients. I love doing these experiences, but I'm actually going to be hosting a free experience next Thursday where we're going to be doing this. And I saw myself in this space, in like a future memory where I was sober. I wasn't drinking. And I said it out loud. I was talking to my friend who we like practice, do these on each other back in the day. And I was like, yeah, I'm not drinking alcohol. And this was probably in 2022. And I thought to myself, why am I not drinking alcohol? Because at that time, if you would have told me that I would choose a sober lifestyle, I would have laughed in your face. I would have been like, there's no way, no, why? Why would I do that? Like, what's the point of that? But I've been sober for over 2 years now, 2 years and counting. And I wasn't alcoholic. I did it for health reasons. I did it just because I wanted to improve my life. But I had the vision. The vision was revealed to me. I was connecting to something deep inside of me, whether you want to say it was my spirit, my higher self, God. I saw this timeline where that wasn't part of my life. And I really believe it was a clue. And of course, you guys have free will to choose. I could have been with my husband and seen all that vision and been like, no, I don't believe it, or I don't think that's the right thing or whatever. But I knew undoubtedly that he was the person that I saw in that vision and that had those clues about. Same with the drinking. And you may wonder, like, well, what's the importance of this? The importance of this is, first of all, imagining that your life can be better. The reason you future and you go into the future is not so that you can numb out and hang out there all the time and just hope, wish, and pray that that's someday you're going to escape from your hellscape of the present moment. That's not what it's about. It's about understanding that when you start to feel those feelings in your body and you get excited, and sometimes you get clues and visions, that they are directions. They're directions. Just like if you were going to go drive from one state to the next, you need to have directions. You're going to stop in certain places. It's the same thing with these clues. The importance of having a vision is to experience what it feels like to be in that energy and to get excited about what's possible. Now, I've seen a lot of things that I've envisioned, and not every single one of them has come true. Some of them are going to take longer. Some of them maybe weren't in full alignment once I changed my consciousness. But the truth is, if you are going to go on a path of healing and to get to know yourself better, you could do it by going back to your past and trying to always like dredge things up and try and figure out. I don't like that method. I don't even like to go back to the past too much unless I'm trying to extract a certain memory or to understand a pattern or a coping mechanism that is still operating right now. I don't believe in going back to the past just to like hang out and be like, well, this happened to me and oh my God, my mom and dad did this. No, like, sorry, it bores me to death. For myself, I'm saying, not for others, but it bores me to go back and repeat the same stories that I already know about my history and my life. It's like, at what point do we take ownership and accountability and decide that we're going to change it? So those future memories and getting excited about the future is a way to heal forward. It's an opportunity to expand who you are, to change your identity, and to transform from the inside, and then let the external world catch up. I know so many women who come to me are stuck in some way. They have fantastic lives on paper, especially, but maybe they're lacking the meaning or the fulfillment, or they've been wanting to make more money, or they want the relationship of their dreams. They want better health. I mean, it doesn't matter. They want something more. And I want to really allow you to feel the permission that life is giving us to still claim that and want that even in these times. And that when you decide you want more, inevitably, you will go on a healing journey. Healing isn't about being broken and needing to fix yourself. Healing is about coming home to yourself, being more of who you are, letting go of the limiting beliefs that are keeping you from having the life that you want. So if any of this is resonating, if you're like, oh my gosh, yes, I want to know what my future memories are. I want to know how I can let go of the past. If any of that is exciting or interesting to you, I've helped transform so many of my clients' lives. I've transformed my own life over and over again. So it's not just me teaching something. God, you guys can go on to AI now and just like get whatever you want. This is about embodiment. And if you're working with people and they're just giving you information now, it's not going to be enough, by the way. Like, this is a time where you need to be as deeply connected and high touch as possible. These coaches that like are $100 million to work with them and have like barely any time with them, those days are going to be over, because people can get information. They can plug into AI and ask a question. This is a time of really deep connection and being around people that have already done the things and gone through the transformation that you are looking for, that you're desiring. And since I teach this and I live it, I love to bring you in and create community around that. And that's what I'm doing next Thursday. So I'm going to be hosting a masterclass. I don't even want to call it that, but for sake of understanding, a masterclass called Becoming Her Now, where whoever can join live, we're going to have an experience, almost like a circle. It's not going to just be me talking at you and teaching you some concepts. Yes, I will share some nuggets, because I really want to help you get unstuck and move forward towards your dreams. But this is more about connection and getting to ask me questions and getting to be in the space with me and getting to know me, and to see if these teachings and the things that I'm sharing that I've helped my other clients with, if they land in your heart. So if you want to join, just comment becoming. I can't wait to see you. It's going to be next Thursday, March 12th at 1 p.m. Mountain Time, 12 Pacific, 3 Eastern. There will be a replay if you can't join live, but I hope that you can come live, because that's where there's going to be tons of magic. And I really encourage you, whether it's through me or somebody else, to keep being around the people that inspire you and being really discerning about who and what you give your time and attention to, because it's becoming a precious commodity, isn't it? With all the noise and all the distractions that are on the planet right now. Anyway, so much love, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Take care.